There's a strange feeling that appears before anything actually changes. You're still in the same place, same routines, same conversations. But something inside you is already gone. You can feel it when you wake up. Nothing is wrong, yet nothing fully fits. You go through the motions, but without the same agreement you had before. Not resistance, not rebellion, distance. Most people ignore this moment. They assume it's mood, fatigue, a phase. But it's none of those. It's the point where your inner position no longer matches your outer life. You haven't decided anything. You haven't planned a change. And that's what makes it unsettling. Because there's nothing to fix, only something to acknowledge. This is the moment that quietly rearranges lives, not through action, through withdrawal. The energy that used to keep things running is no longer fully present. And once that happens, everything else starts to feel louder. This channel exists for that moment, the one that comes before decisions, before explanations, before movement. If you recognize this feeling, stay. We're going to look at what happens when you don't rush to close that gap. And why that gap isn't a problem to solve, but a signal you can't afford to miss. You might be trying to name it right now, wondering when it started, looking for a reason that makes sense. But the truth is, it didn't begin suddenly. It began the moment you stopped fully arriving in the places where you still show up. You answer, you nod, you do what's expected. But something in you stays slightly behind. You're not absent, you're withholding. And that's not something you decided. It's something that happens when staying fully present would require pretending. You feel it most clearly when you're alone after being with people. That quiet drop, not relief, not sadness, just the sense that you're no longer invested in keeping something alive. That's the part almost no one talks about. Because it doesn't feel like a problem, it feels like a loss of participation, and that's unsettling. You start questioning yourself. Am I ungrateful? Am I disconnected? Am I missing something? But none of that fits. What's actually happening is that your attention has already moved past a version of your life that still looks fine on the surface. That's why advice doesn't land right now. That's why motivation sounds distant. They're all speaking to the part of you that already left. If you're listening closely, you can feel where this is touching you. It's specific, not your whole life, not everything at once. One area, one role, one relationship, one way of being seen. The place where you no longer feel inside it. And here's the part that's hardest to accept. Nothing is broken there. It's simply no longer yours. This moment doesn't ask you to act. It asks you to stop overriding what you already know. Because the more honestly you see that you've moved on internally, the less energy you'll spend trying to convince yourself otherwise. Stay with that recognition, not to figure out what's next, but to let yourself fully feel where you're already not. That awareness alone changes how everything unfolds from here. And if this feels uncomfortably precise, leave a comment. Not an explanation, just finish this sentence honestly. The place I no longer feel fully in is. You don't need to say why. The fact that you can see it means something has already shifted. Stay with the channel. Not because it has answers, because it stays with the moments most people rush past before they understand what they mean. And if you stay with this a little longer, you'll notice something even quieter. There's no urgency attached to this knowing, no rush to fix it, no impulse to explain it away. Just a steady clarity that doesn't need your permission anymore. That's how you know this isn't imagination. Imagination is noisy. It wants reassurance. It wants feedback. This doesn't. It simply sits there, unchanged, even when you try to distract yourself from it. You might have moments where you forget it entirely, days where everything feels normal again, and then, without warning, it's back. Not stronger, just undeniable, like a fact you keep bumping into. What's strange is how ordinary it feels. No drama, no collapse, just the realization that you've been spending energy maintaining something your attention already withdrew from. That maintenance is exhausting, and once you see that, you can't unsee it. You may notice yourself doing less, speaking less, explaining yourself less, not out of detachment, out of accuracy. You stop offering energy where it no longer circulates. That's not withdrawal from life, it's conservation, and it changes the way you listen. You begin to hear what's actually being asked of you, not what you think should be asked. Subtle signals become obvious. Overcommitment feels loud. Certain invitations don't land anymore. Not because you're above them, because they don't reach you. This is the point where many people panic quietly. They think something is wrong because the old motivations stopped working. But nothing stopped, something finished. And endings that happen internally rarely announce themselves. They don't come with closure. They don't come with certainty. They come with a calm refusal to keep investing in what no longer responds. If you recognize yourself here, don't rush to turn this into a plan. Plans are premature at this stage. Let the honesty settle first. Because when you allow yourself to fully acknowledge where you've already moved on, movement in the outer world stops being forced. It aligns on its own. And you'll look back at this moment not as the start of something new, but as the moment you stopped arguing with what was already true. Stay with that. There's more unfolding here than you realize. And it doesn't need you to push it forward to continue. Before this ends, let yourself feel one thing. Not what you should do, not what this means. Just the weight of recognition. That quiet sadness that isn't really sadness. The kind that comes when you realize you stayed longer than you needed to. Not because you were weak, not because you didn't know better, but because you cared. Because you tried to make something work even after your heart had already stepped back. That matters. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling this. There's nothing late about it. Nothing wasted. This moment isn't about regret. It's about dignity. About finally allowing yourself to admit the truth without needing to justify it. You don't have to say it out loud. You don't have to act on it today. Just let it be real. And notice how, even as you feel this, something in you softens, like you're no longer carrying the whole story alone. If this touched you, leave a comment. One sentence, no explanation. Just this. I stayed even though. Read a few others too. You'll see something that might surprise you. So many people were strong in the same quiet way. And if you stay with this channel, let it be for that reason. Not for answers. For moments like this, when honesty finally feels safe. Let the video end here, and take a breath before you return to your day. That breath matters.